All right, here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Time for some Lord of the Rings. Let's make sure the stream is functional here. We're going to be reading some more Lord of the Rings today. We're moving on to the next chapter. Oh, we're good. It's functional. Okay. Well, everybody, it's been an interesting week since last time. Subscriber count has increased by quite a bit. But nevertheless, we will continue to read The Lord of the Rings. As was promised a long time ago by young William of a few months ago. Yes. All right, well, I don't know if everyone's here, but if anyone's here that wants to be here, I like to stall for a couple of minutes, usually. So we're going to hang out for a second. Anyone having a good day? No? Oh, that's too bad. Okay. Let's practice my first sentence. Let's practice my first sentence because I like to be warmed up, you know what I mean? I like to be warmed up, if you know what I'm saying. Yes, Chapter 5. The Bridge of Khazad-dum. The Company of the Ring. The Company of the Ring stood silent beside the tome of Balin. Of Balin? Balin? I need to take notes or something. I should have been taking notes this whole time on pronunciations and stuff that we decide on in voices. Oops. It's all right. It's all right. It's not professional. It's fun. It's inconsistent. It's okay. All right. Well, it's been 2 minutes since I started, so we're just going to go for it. All right. Time to read some Lord of the Rings, eh? Let's do it. Chapter 5. The Bridge of Khazad-dum. The Company of the Ring stood silent beside the tome of Balin. Frodo thought of Bilbo and his long friendship with the dwarf and Balin's visit to the Shire long ago. In that dusty chamber in the mountains, it seemed 1,000 years ago, and on the other side of the world. I didn't know they were friends. What? I didn't know that. That's crazy. Already learning new things in the first paragraph. Because in the movie, you know, it's like Balin's tome, and you're like, well, why does that matter? It must have been in The Hobbit. I did not read The Hobbit. Maybe we'll read The Hobbit after we do this whole thing. Who knows? Yeah, whatever. Okay. At length, they stirred and looked up and began to search for anything that would give them tidings of Balin's fate. Balin? I think Balin, because he's Balin. Or show what had become of his folk. There was another smaller door on the other side of the chamber, under the shaft. By both the doors, they could now see that many bones were lying, and among them were broken swords and axe heads, and cloven shields and helms. Some of the swords were crooked, orc scimitars with blackened blades. Here, let me go make sure this is functioning before I see that many bones were lying, and among them were broken swords. Yep, we're good. There were many recesses cut in the rock walls, and in them were large iron-bound chests of wood. All had been broken and plundered, but beside the shattered lid of one there lay the remains of a book. It had been slashed and stabbed and partly burned, and it was so stained with black and other dark marks, like old blood, that little of it could be read. Gandalf lifted it carefully, but the leaves cracked and broke as he laid it on the slab. He pored over it for some time without speaking. Frodo and Gimli, standing at his side, could see, as he gingerly turned the leaves, that they were written by many different hands, in runes, both of Moria and of Dale, and here and there in Elvish script. At last, Gandalf looked up.
It seems, yes, I'm Gandalf, of course. It seems to be a record of the fortunes of Balin's folk, he said. I guess that it has been with their coming to Dimril Dale nigh on 30 years ago. The pages seem to have numbers referring to the years after their arrival. The top page is marked 1 through 3. The top page is marked 1 through 3, so at least 2 are missing from the beginning. Listen to this. We drove out orcs from the great gate and guard. I think the next word is blurred and burned, probably room. We slew many in the bright, I think, sun in the dale. Floey was killed by an arrow. He slew the great. Then there is a blur, followed by Floey under grass near Miramere. The next line I cannot read. Then comes, we have taken the 21st hall of North End to dwell in. There is, I cannot read what, a shaft is mentioned. Then Balin has set up his seat in the chamber of Mar-Zarbul.
The Chamber of Records, said Gimli.
I guess that is where we now stand. I can read no more for a long way, said Gandalf, except the word gold, and Durin's axe, and something helm, and then Balin is now Lord of Moria. That seems to end a chapter. And after some stars, another hand begins, and I can see we've found true silver, and then later the word well forged, and then something, I have it, mithril, and the last 2 lines, owing to seek for the upper armories of Third Deep. Something, go westwards, a blur, to Holland Gate.
This is not well written. I don't know. This is hard to read because I feel like if you're looking at the text on the screen, it makes sense. Or on the book, it makes sense. But trying to translate, because like what he's reading is in italics and what he's saying isn't. Is anyone here? Did that make any sense? Did that reading make any sense? Because it's hard for me to tell. But no one's here, so I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. Gandalf paused and set a few leaves aside. There are several
pages of the same sort, rather hastily written and much damaged, he said. But I can make little of them in this light. Now, there must be a number of leaves missing, because they begin to be numbered 5, the 5th year of the colony, I suppose. Let me see. No, they are too cut and stained. I cannot read them. We might do better in the sunlight. Wait, here is something. A large, bold hand, using in Elvish script. That would be Ori's hand, said Gimli, looking over the wizard's arm. He could write well and speedily, and often use the Elvish characters. I fear he had ill tidings to record in a fair hand, said Gandalf. The first clear word is sorrow, but the rest of the line is lost, unless it ends in estere. Yes, it must be yesterday, followed by day being the 10th of November. Balin, Lord of Moria, fell in Dimril Dale. He went alone to look in Miramere. An orc shot him from behind with a stone, and slew the orc. But many more up from east, up the silver lode. The remainder of the page is so blurred that I can hardly make anything out, but I think I can read. We have barred the gates, and then can hold them long if and then perhaps horrible, and suffer. Poor Balin. He seems to have kept the title.
This is so hard to read, man. What the fuck is this? This was not written to be read aloud. This was not written to be read aloud. Can I do better at this? Maybe. I would have to think it through, to be honest. All right, whatever.
Poor Balin. I'm a wizard. I am Gandalf, yes. Poor Balin. He seems to have kept the title that he took for less than 5 years. I wonder what happened afterwards. There is no more time to puzzle out the last few pages. Here is the last page of all.
He paused and sighed.
It is grim reading, he said. I fear their end was cruel. Listen, we cannot get out. We cannot get out. They have taken the bridge and second hall. Freyr and Lorni and Nali fell there. Then there are 4 lines smeared so that I can only read. Went 5 days ago. The last lines run. The pool is up to the well. The pool is up to the wall at West Gate. The watcher in the water took Owen. We cannot get out. The end comes. And then drums in the deep. I wonder what that means. The last thing written is in a trolling scroll of elf letters. They are coming. There is nothing more.
Gandalf paused and stood in silent thought. A sudden dread and a horror of the chamber fell on the company.
We cannot get out, muttered Gimli. It was well for us that the pool had sunk a little, and that the watcher was sleeping down at the southern end.
Gandalf raised his head and looked around.
They seem to have made a last stand.
Now, fuck, man, I cannot focus right now. This is too, weirdly written, man. It's like Gandalf is reading and then talking and
bruh.
Yeah. Gandalf raised his head and looked round.
I am Gandalf, of course. They seem to have made a stand by both doors, he said, but there were not many left by that time. So ended the attempt to retake Moria. It was valiant but foolish. The time is not come yet. Now I fear we must say farewell to Balin, son of Fundin. Here he must lie in the halls of his fathers. We will take this book, the Book of Marzabul, and look at it more closely later. You had better keep it, Gimli, and take it back to Dain, if you get a chance. It will interest him, though it will grieve him deeply. Come, let us go. The morning has passed.
Which way shall we go? Asked Boromir.
Back to the hall, answered Gandalf. But our visit to this room has not been in vain. I now know where we are. This must be, as Gimli says, the chamber of Marzabul, and the hall must be the 21st of the north end. Therefore, we should leave by the eastern arch of the hall, and bear right and south, and go downwards. The 21st hall should be on the 7th level. That is six above the level of the gates. Come now, back to the hall.
Gandalf had hardly spoken these words when there came a great noise, a rolling boom that seemed to come from depths far below, and to tremble in the stone at their feet. They sprang towards the door in alarm.
Doom, doom.
It rolled again, as if huge hands were turning the very caverns of Moria into a vast drum. Then there came an echoing blast. A great horn was blown in the hall, and answering horns and harsh cries were heard further off. There was a hurrying sound of many feet.
They are coming, cried
How does Legolas sound? Legolas, he sounds very full of himself, but elvish. They are coming. They are coming. They are coming, cried Legolas. We cannot get out, said Gimli. Trapped, cried Gandalf. Why did I delay? Why did I delay? Nope, that's incorrect. Fuck, there's so many voice checks. I gave myself too much work. Okay. Why did I delay? Here we are, caught. Why did I delay? We are here, caught, just as they were before. But I was not here then. We will see what... Doom, doom, came the drum beat, and the walls shook. Slam the doors and wedge them. Slam the doors and wedge them, shouted Aragorn. And keep your packs on as long as you can. We may get a chance to cut our way out yet. No, said Gandalf. We must not get shut in. Keep the east door ajar. We will go that way if we get a chance. Another harsh horn call and shrill cries rang out. Feet were coming down the corridor. There was a ring and clatter as the company drew their swords. Glamdring shone with a pale light, and Sting glinted at the edges. Boromir set his shoulder against the western door. Wait a moment. Do not close it yet, said Gandalf. He sprang forward to Boromir's side and drew himself to his full height. Who comes hither to disturb the rest of Balin, Lord of Moria? He cried in a loud voice. There was a rush of hoarse laughter, like the fall of sliding stones into a pit. Amid a clamor, a deep voice was raised in command. Doom, boom, doom, with the drums in the deep. With a quick movement, Gandalf stepped before the narrow opening of the door and thrust forward his staff. There was a dazzling flash that lit the chamber and the passage outside. For an instant, the wizard looked out. Arrows whined and whistled down the corridor as he sprang back. There are orcs, very many of them, he said. And some are large and evil, black uruks of Mordor. For the moment, they are hanging back, but there is something else there. A great cave troll, I think. Or more than one. There is no hope of escape that way. And no hope at all, if they come at the other door as well, said Boromir. There is no sound outside here yet, said Aragorn, who was standing by the eastern door listening. The passage on this side plunges straight down a stair. It plainly does not lead back towards the hall, but it is no good flying blindly there. But it is no good flying blindly this way, with the pursuit just behind. We cannot block the door. Its key is gone, and the lock is broken. It opens inwards. We must do something to delay the enemy. We must do something to delay the enemy first. We will make them fear the chamber of Marzabul, he said, grimly, feeling the edge of his sword and duro. Heavy feet were heard in the corridor. Boromir flung himself against the door and heaved it to. Then he wedged it with broken sword blades and splinters of wood. The company retreated to the other side of the chamber, but they had no chance to fly yet. There was a blow on the door that made it quiver, and then it began to grind slowly open, driving back the wedges. A huge arm and shoulder with a dark skin of greenish scales was thrust through the widening gap. Then a great, flat, toeless foot was forced through below. There was a dead silence outside. Boromir leaped forward and hewed at the arm with all his might, but his sword rang, glanced aside, and fell from his shaken hand. The blade was notched. Suddenly, to his own surprise, Frodo felt a hot wrath blaze up in his heart. "The Shire!" he cried, and springing beside Boromir, he stooped and stabbed with Sting at the hideous foot. There was a bellow, and the foot jerked back, nearly wrenching Sting from Frodo's arm. Black drops dripped from the blade and smoked on the floor. Boromir hoard himself. He whored himself. Oh, no. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Let's reread that. Boromir hurled himself against the door and slammed it again. Hello. Hello. Praise Lua. Welcome to the Lord of the Rings stream. We're reading Lord of the Rings. Okay, where was I? Let's see. One for the Shire, cried Aragorn. The hobbit's bite is deep. You have a good blow, Frodo, son of Drogo. There was a crash on the door, followed by crash after crash. Rams and hammers were beating against it. It cracked and staggered back, and the opening grew suddenly wide. Arrows came whistling in, but struck the northern wall and fell harmlessly to the floor. There was a horn blast and a rush of feet, and orcs, one after another, leaped into the chamber. Have you seen this? Praise W, Lord of the Rings. Have you seen this film? You probably have. Everyone has. This is the big action scene. Frodo stabbed them. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. How many there were, the company could not count. The affray was sharp, but the orcs were dismayed by the fierceness of the defense. Legolas shot two through the throat. Gimli hewed the legs from under another that had sprung up on Balin's tomb. Boromir and Aragorn slew many. When 13 had fallen, the rest fled, shrieking, leaving the defenders unharmed, except for Sam, who had a scratch along the scalp. A quick duck had saved him, and he had felled his orc, a sturdy thrust with his barrow blade. A fire was smoldering in his brown eyes that would have made Ted Sandyman step backwards if he had seen it. You actually haven't? You don't watch movies? Well, now you get the true Lord of the Rings experience, how it was originally made, intended by old Tolkien himself. Now you get the full experience. Yeah, I mean, they're good, actually. They're really good. A lot of movie adaptations suck. I feel like with like constant like filthy remakes and films these days, you know, and like Marvel abusing its IPs and stuff. Lord of the Rings is a good one. It holds up very well, but you don't have to. No pressure. It's okay. It's all right. You can just watch this stream, and we're good. We're good. Okay.
Now it is the time, cried Gandalf. Let us go before the troll returns.
But even as they retreated, and before Pippin and Merry had reached the stair outside, a huge orc chieftain, almost man-high, clad in black mail from head to foot, leaped into the chamber. Behind him, his followers clustered in the doorway. His broad, flat face was swart. His eyes were like coals, and his tongue was red. He wielded a great spear. With the thrust of his huge shield, he turned Boromir's sword and bore him backwards, throwing him to the ground. Diving under Aragorn's blow with the speed of a striking snake, he charged into the company and thrust with his spear straight at Frodo. The blow caught him on the right side, and Frodo was hurled against the wall and pinned. Sam, with a cry... Sorry, I'm getting too into it. Sam, with a cry, hacked at the spear shaft, and it broke. But even as the orc flung down the what? The Truncheon? What is... One second. wait, we have to look this word up. I don't know what the fuck that is. Truncheon. Baton. A self-defense baton. Oh, it's a billy club. What? Damn, Tolkien's got police weaponry in his books. That's funny. Background, heck yeah, that's what we want. Okay, so a truncheon. I feel like truncheon has got to be it. Is a baton. All right. But even as the orc flung down the truncheon and swept out his scimitar, Anduril came down upon his helm. There was a flash, like... Whoop, page turn. There was a flash like flame, and the helm burst asunder. The orc fell with cloven head. His followers fled howling as Boromir and Aragorn sprang at them. Doom, doom, with the drums in the deep. The great voice rolled out again. Now, shouted Gandalf. Now is the last chance. Run for it. Aragorn picked up Frodo where he lay by the wall and made for the stair, pushing Merry and Pippin in front of him. The others followed, but Gimli had to be dragged away by Legolas. In spite of the peril, he lingered by Balin's tomb with his head bowed. Boromir hauled the eastern door to, grinding upon its hinges. It had great iron rings on either side, but could not be fastened. I am all right, gasped Frodo. I can walk. Put me down. Aragorn nearly dropped him in his amazement. I thought you were dead, he cried. Not yet, said Gandalf, but there is no time for wonder. If off you go, all of you, down the stairs. Wait a few minutes for me, at the bottom, but if I do not come soon, go on. Go quickly, and choose paths leading right and downwards. We cannot leave you to hold the door alone, said Aragorn. Do as I say, said Gandalf fiercely. Swords are no more use here. Go. The passage was lit by no shaft, and was utterly dark. They groped their way down a long flight of steps, and then looked back, but they could see nothing, except high above them, the faint glimmer of the wizard's staff. He seemed to be still standing on guard by the closed door. Frodo breathed heavily and leaned against Sam, who put his arms about him. They stood peering up the stairs into the darkness. Frodo thought he could hear the voice of Gandalf above, muttering words that ran down the sloping roof with a sighing echo. He could not catch what was said. The walls seemed to be trembling. Every now and again the drum beats throbbed and rolled. Doom, doom. Suddenly at the top of the stair there was a stab of white light. Then there was a dull rumble and a heavy thud. The drum beats broke out wildly. Doom, boom, doom, boom. How do you do drum beats? Is that good enough? I hope so. And then stopped. Gandalf came flying down the steps and fell to the ground in the midst of the company. Well, well, that's over, said the wizard, struggling to his feet. I have done all that I could, but I have met my match and have nearly been destroyed. But don't stand here. Go on. You will have to do without the light for a while. I am rather shaken. Go on. Go on. Where are you, Gimli? Come ahead with me. Keep close behind, all of you. Is that the... I was talking to my brother yesterday, and he has read these books. And he told me that Gandalf fighting the Balrog in the books is just one like little paragraph or something. I wonder if that's what it was. Is that the paragraph? But we know he in the movies he falls into a big thing and disappears and then comes back later. So no spoiler alert for Praise Lua. Not that you cared. So I wonder if that was the paragraph. No, probably not. Surely there's more, right? They stumbled after him, wondering what had happened. Doom, doom, went the drum beats again. They now sounded muffled and far away, but they were following. There was no other sound of pursuit, neither tramp or feet, nor any voice. Gandalf took no turns, right or left, for the passage seemed to be going in the direction that he desired. Every now and again descended a flight of steps, 50 or more, to a lower level. At the moment, that was their chief danger, for in the dark they could not see a descent, until they came on it, and put their feet out into emptiness. Gandalf felt the ground with his staff like a blind man. At the end of an hour, they had gone a mile, or maybe more, and had descended many flights of stairs. There was still no sound of pursuit. Almost they began to hope that they would escape. At the bottom of the 7th flight, Gandalf halted. It's getting hot, he gasped. We ought to be down, at least to the level of the gates now.
Soon, I think we should look for a left-hand turn to take us east. I hope it is not far. I am very weary. I must rest here a moment, even if all the orcs ever spawned are here after us.
The Balrog destroys the door after the fight with the troll, and he doesn't yet know it is the Balrog, but it's less epic than the movie makes it out to be in the book. Wait. So you're saying that was the paragraph? The Balrog destroys the door after the fight with the troll, and he doesn't know it is the Balrog, but it's less. Wow. Okay, so that was it. That's it. He is super exhausted. This is true. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep reading. Gimli took his arm and helped him down to a seat on the step.
What happened there? What happened away up there at the door? He asked. Did you meet the beater of the drums?
Oh, this is what you just said. Oh, there's someone else here. Unrelated. Amazing person. Wow. Thank you. You flatter me. Too stylic. Keep up everything you love. Dude, yeah. Your vid found me at the perfect time. Yeah, I really appreciate that. You know, it's getting good views, that video, but honestly, I just felt like after my failures, it was just felt like a good idea for me to make sure to share that with people. Cause you know, I struggled. Okay. All right. We're reading a book. Come on. No time to get, hello, Peach, Quinn. Howdy. Okay. Where were we? We got to read a book. Let's see.
I do not know, answered Gandalf, but I found myself suddenly faced by something that I have not met before. I could think of nothing to do but to try and put a shutting spell on the door. I know many, but to do things of that kind rightly requires time, and even then the door can be broken by strength. As I stood there, I could hear orc voices on the other side. At any moment I thought they would burst it open. I could not hear what was said. They seemed to be talking in their own hideous language. All I caught was kash, that is fire. Then something came into the chamber. I felt it through the door, and the orcs themselves were afraid and fell silent. It laid hold of the iron ring, and then it perceived me and my spell. What it was, I cannot guess, but I have never felt such a challenge. The counter spell was terrible. It nearly broke me. For an instant, the door left my control and began to open. I had to speak a word of command that proved too great a strain. The door burst in pieces. Something dark as a cloud was blocking out all the light inside, and I was thrown backwards down the stairs. All the wall gave way, and the roof of the chamber as well, I think. I am afraid Balin is buried deep, and maybe something else is buried there too. I cannot say, but at least the passage behind us was completely blocked. I have never felt so spent, but it is passing. And now what about you, Frodo? There was not time to say so, but I have never been more delighted in my life than when you spoke. I feared that it was a brave but dead hobbit that Aragorn was carrying. What about me? Said Frodo. I am alive, and whole, I think. I am bruised and in pain, but it is not too bad. Well, said Aragorn, I can only say that hobbits are made of a stuff so tough that I have never met the like of it. Had I known, I would have spoken softer at the inn at Bree. That spear thrust would have skewered a wild boar. Well, it did not skewer me, I am glad to say, said Frodo, though I feel as if I had been caught between a hammer and an anvil. He said no more. He found breathing painful. You take after Bilbo, said Gandalf. There is more about you than meets the eye, as I said of him long ago.
Frodo wondered if the remark meant more than it said.
Because he had the mithril on. He had the mithril on. And that's what blocked the spear. But mithril's like a rare legendary resource, so he doesn't want to say it, I guess. I think Gimli would be mad or something. I don't know.
Okay, sorry. We have some comments. Hey! Oh. Sorry to get you off topic. Continue. Oh, yes. Is he at Barnes & Noble?
What, Colby?
Hey, Colby. What? Is Gandalf at Barnes & Noble? Yeah. Yes, he sure is. Okay, They went on again. Before long, Gimli spoke. He had keen eyes in the dark.
I think, he said, that there is a light ahead, but it is not daylight. It is red. What can it be? Gosh, muttered Gandalf. I wonder if that is what they meant, that the lower levels are on fire. Still, we can only go on.
Soon the light became unmistakable and could be seen by all. It was flickering and glowing on the walls away down the passage before them. They could now see their way. In front, the road sloped down swiftly, and some way ahead there stood a low archway. Through it, the growing light came. The air became very hot. When they came to the arch, Gandalf went through, signing to them to wait. He stood just beyond the opening. They saw his face lit by a red glow. Quickly he stepped back.
There is some new devilry here, he said, devised for our welcome, no doubt.
Ooh, that was bad.
Devised for our welcome, no doubt. But I know now where we are. We have reached the first deep, the level immediately below the gates. This is the second hall of old Moria, and the gates are near, away beyond the eastern end, on the left, no more than a quarter of a mile. Across the bridge, up a broad stair, along a wide road, through the first hall, and out. But come and look.
So wait. Let's just keep reading. Where's the Balrog? Okay. It's coming. Right? Or maybe that was it? How do you say your name? Githorn said? Okay. They peered out. Before them was another cavernous hall. It was loftier and far longer than the one in which they had slept. They were near its eastern end. Westward it ran away into darkness. Down the center stalked a double line of towering pillars. They were carved like boles of mighty trees, whose boughs upheld the roof with a branching tracery. Dude, my mouth is not saying words. Let me finish the sentence. They were carved. Okay. Upheld the roof with a branching tracery. Dude, I'm professional. I swear I'm not a professional. With a branching tracery of stone. Their stems were smooth and black, but a red glow was darkly mirrored on their sides. Right across the floor, close to the feet of two huge pillars, a great fissure had opened. Out of it, fierce red light came, and now and again flames licked at the brink and curled about the bases of the columns. Wisps of dark smoke wavered in the hot air. Story gave, yeah. It was a good one. I hope. 15 years of failure to make that video. So I hope it was good. The fire is that Balrog isn't placing the power. Just isn't placing the power because I think it's been like 2,000 years since he encountered another of the Maya. Okay. So you seem to be a lore expert, which is helpful, which is very helpful. So Gandalf as a Maya encountered another of the Maya, right? Is that what it is? Is the Balrog a Maya? Is that it? I don't mind the lesson. We can pause and you can enlighten us with information that, because we're here to have a good time and try to understand what the heck's going on. Yeah. Okay.
Let's keep reading. Where were we? Okay.
If we had come by the main road down from the upper halls, we should have been trapped here, said Gandalf. Let us hope that the fire now lies between us and pursuit. Come, there is no time to lose.
Even as they spoke, they heard again the pursuing drumbeat.
Doom, doom, doom.
Away beyond the shadows, at the western end of the hall, there came cries and horn calls.
Doom, doom.
The pillars seemed to tremble, and the flames to quiver.
Now for the last race, said Gandalf. If the sun is shining outside, we may still escape. After me.
He turned and left, and sped across the smooth floor of the hall. The distance was greater than it had looked. As they ran, they heard the beat, an echo of many hurrying feet behind. A shrill yell went up. They had been seen. There was a ring and a clash of steel. An arrow whistled over Frodo's head.
Okay. Sorry. Let's see what you said. Yes, they're angels, and the fallen are the Balrog and other beings. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I've heard this before. Gandalf is a Maya, which is an angel, right? And the fallen are the Balrog and other beings. Okay, so the Balrog is a fallen. Okay, got it. Yeah, Gandalf does not seem to be at his most powerful, but I guess that's why what happens after this, right? And that's like Saruman, the white. He's also a Maya, right? Like all the wizards, and then like that other guy. There was another one that was mentioned at one point. Okay, let's see where are we at?
Boromir laughed. They did not expect this, he said. The fire has cut them off. We are on the wrong side.
Sorry, sometimes I question how I'm voicing Boromir. Yeah, they're like in order. You have blue wizards, brown, gray, and white. Yeah. Okay. And then, if you're such an expert, then who is Tom Bombadil? Because we read about Tom Bombadil, of course, and he's just, all it says is that he's the master and that he was before everything. So, if you have extra information, probably not. He's the master, right? Okay, sorry, I just have to ask because you seem to know what you're talking about.
Look ahead, called Gandalf. The bridge is near. It is dangerous and narrow.
Suddenly, Frodo saw before him a black chasm. At the end of the hall, the floor vanished and fell to an unknown depth. The outer door could only be reached by a slender bridge of stone, without curb or rail, that spanned the chasm, with one curving spring of 50 feet. It was an ancient defense of the dwarves against any enemy that might capture the first hall and the outer passages. They could only pass across it in single file. At the brink, Gandalf halted, and the others came up in a pack behind.
Lead the way, Gimli, he said. Pippin and Merry next. Straight on, and up the stair beyond the door.
Arrows fell among them. One struck Frodo and sprang back.
Ye old Mithril.
Another pierced Gandalf's hat and stuck there like a black feather. Frodo looked behind. Beyond the fire he saw swarming black figures. There seemed to be hundreds of orcs. They brandished spears and scimitars which shone red as blood in the firelight. Doom, doom, rolled the drum beats, growing louder and louder. Doom, doom. Legolas turned and set an arrow to the string. Though it was a long shot for his small bow, he drew, but his hand fell, and the arrow slipped to the ground. He gave a cry of dismay and fear. Two great trolls appeared.
Did Legolas fumble? He fumbled the arrow? That's not like Legolas. Legolas doesn't fumble. He only ever hits crazy perfect shots ever, and that's it. That's all he does. Wait. Let me see if I read that right. He drew, but his hand fell, and the arrow slipped to the ground. So he's just like too scared. He's too nervous. Is that it? And he just couldn't shoot because he's nervous. He gave a cry of dismay and fear. 2 great trolls appeared. They bore great slabs of stone and flung them down to serve as gangways over the fire. But it was not the trolls that had filled the elf with terror. The ranks of orcs had opened, and they crowded away as if they themselves were afraid. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, what was... Something was coming up behind them. What it was could not be seen. It was like a great shadow, in the middle of which was a dark form, of man shape, maybe, yet greater, and a power and terror seemed to be in it, and to go before it. It came to the edge of the fire, and the light faded, as if a cloud had bent over it. Then, with a rush, it leaped across the fissure. The flames roared up to greet it, and wreathed about it, and a black smoke swirled in the air. Its streaming mane kindled, and blazed behind it. In its right hand was a blade, like a stabbing tongue of fire, and its left it held a whip of many thongs. I'm mature. I'm not. I'm mature. What does Legolas sound like? Sorry.
Legolas, he sounds like this. Legolas, yes, of course.
Aye, wailed Legolas. A Balrog has come. Is that what he sounds like? A Balrog. Legolas, yes. They're so hard to do all these voices, man. I'm a pro. Okay. A Balrog has come. Gimli stared with wide eyes. Turin's pain, he cried, and letting his axe fall, he covered his face.
A Balrog, muttered Gandalf. Now I understand.
He faltered and leaned heavily on his staff.
What an evil fortune! I am already weary.
The dark figure, streaming with fire, raced towards them. The orcs yelled and poured over the stone gangways. Then Boromir raised his horn and blew. Loud the challenge rang and bellowed, like the shout of many throats under the cavernous roof. For a moment the orcs quailed, and the fiery shadow halted. Then the echoes died, as suddenly as a flame blown out by a dark wind, and the enemy advanced again.
Over the bridge, cried Gandalf, recalling his strength. Fly! This is a foe beyond any of you. I must hold the narrow way. Fly!
Aragorn and Boromir did not heed the command, but still held their ground, side by side, behind Gandalf at the far end of the bridge. The others halted just within the doorway at the hall's end, and turned, unable to leave their leader to face the enemy alone. The Balrog reached the bridge. Gandalf stood in the middle of the span, leaning on the staff in his left hand, but in his other hand Glamdring gleamed, cold and white. The enemy halted again, facing him, and the shadow about it reached out like 2 vast wings. It raised the whip, and the thongs whined and cracked. Fire came from its nostrils, but Gandalf stood firm.
You shall not pass.
I can't do that.
You shall not pass,
he said. The orcs stood still, and a dead silence fell.
I am a servant of the sacred fire, wielder of the flame of Anor. You cannot pass. The dark fire will not avail you. Flame of Odin, go back to the shadow. You cannot pass.
The Balrog made no answer. The fire in it seemed to die. The darkness grew. It stepped forward slowly on the bridge, and suddenly it drew itself to a great height, and its wings were spread from wall to wall. But still Gandalf could be seen, glimmering in the gloom. He seemed small and altogether alone, gray and bent, like a wizened tree before the onset of a storm.
From out of the shadow, a red sword leaped, flaming. Glamdring glittered white in answer. There was a ringing clash and a stab of white fire. The Balrog fell back, and its sword flew up in molten fragments. The wizard swayed on the bridge, stepped back a pace, then again stood still. "You cannot pass," he said. With a bound, the Balrog leaped full upon the bridge. Its whip whirled and hissed. "He cannot stand alone," cried Aragorn suddenly, and ran back along the bridge. "Elendil," he shouted, "I am with you, Gandalf." "Gondor!" cried Boromir, and leaped after. Sorry. Nailed it. Oh, thank you. Wait. Boromir. "Gondor! I'm Boromir. Gondor!" cried Boromir and leaped after him. Sorry, sometimes I have to just keep trying to get it right. At that moment, Gandalf lifted his staff, and crying aloud, he smote the bridge before him. The staff broke asunder and fell from his hand. A blinding sheet of white flame sprang up. The bridge cracked. Right at the Balrog's feet it broke, and the stone upon which it stood crashed into the gulf, while the rest remained poised, quivering like a tongue of rock thrust out into emptiness. Ooh. With a terrible cry, the Balrog fell forward, and its shadow plunged down and vanished. But even as it fell, it swung up its whip, and the thongs lashed and curled about the wizard's knees, dragging him to the brink. He staggered and fell, grasped vainly at the stone, and slid into the abyss. "Fly, you fools!" and cried. He was gone. There it is! There it is! There it is. I don't know what my brother was talking about. He said it was like a paragraph. That wasn't disappointing at all. That was what I expected. That was about what I expected it to be. Like, I think my brother might have been talking about like when he clashed like in the doorway, right? Which we were talking about earlier. So I think my bro might have been confused. Maybe. I don't know. But that felt good to read. That felt good to read. Except for when I had to do Boromir. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. The fires went out. The blank darkness fell. The company stood, rooted with horror, staring into the pit. Even as Aragorn and Boromir came flying back, the rest of the bridge cracked and fell. With a cry, Aragorn roused them. "Come, I will lead you now," he called. "We must obey his last command. Follow me." They stumbled wildly up the great stairs beyond the door, Aragorn leading, Boromir at the rear. At the top was a wide, echoing passage. Along this they fled. Frodo heard Sam at his side weeping, and then he found that he himself was weeping as he ran. Doom, doom, doom. The drumbeats rolled behind, mournful now and slow. Doom. They ran on. The light grew before them. Great shafts pierced the roof. They ran swifter. They passed into a hall, bright with daylight. From its high windows in the east, they fled across it. Though its huge broken doors they passed, and suddenly, before them, the great gates opened, an arch of blazing light. There was a guard of orcs crouching in the shadows behind the great doorposts, towering on either side. The gates were shattered and cast down. Aragorn smote to the ground the captain that stood in his path, and the rest fled in terror of his wrath. The company swept past them and took no heed of them. Out of the gates they ran and sprang down the huge and age-worn steps, the threshold of Moria. Thus, at last, they came beyond hope under the sky and felt the wind on their faces. They did not halt until they were out of bowshot from the walls. Dim-rilled dale lay about them. The shadow of the misty mountains lay upon it, but eastwards there was a golden light on the land. It was 1 hour after noon. The sun was shining. The clouds were white and high. They looked back. Dark yawned the archway of the gates under the mountain shadow. Faint and far beneath the earth rolled the slow drum beats. Doom. A thin black smoke trailed out. Nothing else was to be seen. The dale all around was empty. Doom. Grief, at last, wholly overcame them, and they wept long, some standing and silent, some cast upon the ground. Doom, doom. The drumbeats faded.
Whoa! Gandalf is dead. How tragic. How tragic. That's chapter 5 completed right there. Which actually only took me 56 minutes. Sometimes these chapters take lately I've only been able to do one chapter per stream because they have taken so long to read, but that one was actually pretty quick. Maybe it's just because it was so intense, I was focused. I don't know. Ooh, oh. Okay, well, I think we have time to keep going because it's only been an hour. So we can do 2 chapters. We're back. We can do 2 chapters. Just watch this one be like really, really long and take like forever. Sorry, I'm parched, mate. Here, I'm gonna open the window. It's getting hot in here. Okay. It is so hot, mate. Thoughts, concerns, how's everyone doing? Y'all having a good time? Okay. Well, I guess I'll just keep going, huh? Sorry, I mean to sniff into my... I got sick like a week ago, and I've had a runny nose for like the whole time since the video. It's been obnoxious. Okay, let's see. Chapter 6. Oh, how the fuck do I say that? Lothlorien. That's got to be it. Chapter 6. Lothlorien. Alas, I fear we cannot stay here longer, said Aragorn. He looked towards the mountains and held up his sword. Farewell, Gandalf. Oh, no, I like that. Farewell, Gandalf, he cried. Did I not say to you, if you pass the doors of Moria, beware. Alas, that I spoke true. What hope have we without you? He turned to the company. We must do without hope, he said. At least we may yet be avenged. Let us grind ourselves and weep no more. Come, we have a long road, and much to do. Loud. See, this is what happens when I open my window. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's pretty loud. Dude, you know what does suck? Is now that Gandalf's dead and isn't going to be back for a while, I don't get to voice Gandalf, and that's like my best voice, It's sad. Now I got to do Aragorn, who just sounds like slightly like atypical Chad, but not entirely. I'm trying to make him a little more... All right, where were we? They rose and looked about them. Northward, the dale ran up into a glen of shadows between 2 great arms of the mountains, above which 3 white peaks were shining: Celebdil, Fanweedhole, Caradhras, and the mountains of Moria. Oh wait, no. Those are the... Sorry. Those... I'll just read them again. Celebdil, Fanweedhole, Caradhras, the mountains of Moria. At the head of the glen, a torrent flowed like a white lace over an endless ladder of short falls, and a mist of foam hung in the air about the mountain's feet. Yonder is the Dimrill Stair, said Aragorn, pointing to the falls. Down the deep cloven, the way climbs beside the torrent. We should have come, if fortune had been kinder. Or Caradhras less cruel, said Gimli. There he stands, smiling in the sun.
He shook his fist at the furthest of the snow-capped peaks and turned away. This thing's wobbling. What the heck? Whoop. Whoop. Somebody's throwing shit in the dumpster and it's loud. Whoop. Break time? Break time? Anybody want to say it, send a chat right now? No? Unfortunately, there's a delay. So by the time you hear that and then send a chat, I'll have started reading again probably. I'm waiting for this thing to stop. I don't know if it's going to. I might just have to read through it. Let's see. Yeah, there's a dude throwing a bunch of stuff away, so I'll just keep reading. Ooh, I'm so sweaty, dude. It is so sweaty. Okay. Ooh, god damn, that's loud. Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe I just shut. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna tough the heat. I'm just gonna tough the heat and tough for a minute, so that we can keep reading. Okay. Whoopsie daisy. It is true. I don't know what you're saying that to, but it's probably the 30 seconds thing, right? Maybe. Hence, yeah, the seconds. Okay. Into the northern glen, but its southern end was beyond the shadows under the sunlit sky, yet its waters were dark, a deep blue like clear evening sky seen from a lamplit room. Its face was still and unruffled. About it lay a smooth sward, shelving down on all sides to its bare unbroken rim. There lies Miramir, deep Khazad-dum, said Gimli. Sadly. I have to sound sad. There lies Miramir, deep Khazad-dum, said Gimli sadly. I remember that he said, "May you have joy of the sight, but we cannot linger here. Now long shall I journey ere I have joy again. It is I that must hasten away, and he that must remain." I'm just wondering if I'm doing Gimli right. Nah, I'm committing to it. This is what he sounds like. The company now went down the road from the gates. It was rough and broken, fading to a winding track between heather and whin. The thing's toking rights. Okay, whatever that means. Fading to a winding track between heather and wind that thrust amid the cracking stones, but still it could be seen that once, long ago, a great paved way had wound upwards from the lowlands to the dwarf kingdom, in places were ruined works of stone beside the path, and mounds of green topped with slender birches or fir trees sighing on the wind. An eastward bend led them hard by the sward of Miramir, and there, not far from the roadside, stood a single column broken at the top. "That's Turin's stone," cried Gimli. "I cannot pass without turning aside for a moment to look at the wonder of the dale." "Be swift then," said Aragorn, looking back towards the gates. "The sun sinks early. The orcs will not, maybe, come out till after dusk, but we must be far away before nightfall. The moon is almost spent, and it will be dark tonight." "Come with me, Frodo," cried the dwarf, springing from the road. "I would not have you go without seeing Khazad-dum." He ran down the long green slope. Frodo followed slowly, drawn by the still blue water, in spite of hurt and weariness. Sam came up behind. Beside the standing stone, Gimli halted and looked up. It was cracked and weather-worn, and the faint runes upon its side could not be read. "This pillar marks the spot
where Durin first looked in the mirror, said the dwarf. Let us look ourselves once. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
They stooped over the dark water. At first they could see nothing. Then slowly they saw the forms of the encircling mountains, mirrored in a profound blue, and the peaks were like plumes of white flame above them. Beyond there was a space of sky. There, like jewels sunk in deep shone glinting stars, though sunlit, was in the sky. What the fuck? Okay, I just read that sentence bad. Oops. Oops. There, like jewels sunk in the deep, shone glinting stars, though sunlight was in the sky above, of their own stooping form. Whoop! Phew! Thanks for subscribing, Cheaty. That was loud. I keep forgetting to mute. Oh yeah, that's how we do it. Okay. Mute event sounds. Thank you, Cheaty, for subscribing. If you're here. Okay. I have not. I need to work on those YouTube notifications because that's loud. I gotta figure that one out. All right, where were we? Let's see. Okay, let's look ourselves. Here we go. They stooped over. Okay. Though sunlight was in the sky above, of their own stooping forms, no shadow could be seen.
Oh, Kelid's harem, fair and wonderful, said Gimli. There lies the crown of Durin till he wakes. Farewell.
He bowed and turned away, and hastened back up the greensward to the road again.
What did you see?
Said Pippin to Sam, but Sam was too deep in thought to answer.
Oh, okay. See, now I'm getting sounds for that. Okay. There's buttons here. I'm figuring out what these buttons are doing. Okay, there's these buttons. I'm learning. Oh, you don't find this insulting? No. But I watch your videos and laugh myself. That's good, you know? As long as you're having a good time. Like, as long as you're not laughing when I'm doing a Gandalf voice, okay? But in between, when I say funny shit, that's totally fine. In my opinion, title of stuff, chaotic ASMR. Oh, okay. It is a little chaotic, isn't it? I'm, like, serious and then, like, goofing on Tolkien. Cool. All right. Every time I read chat, I lose track of where I am. I need to get better at this. Everyone has a reason to watch. Everyone's got a reason to watch. Laughing, crying, ASMR, your background noise, whatever. Okay. The road now turned south and went quickly downwards, running out from between the arms of the dale. Some way below the mere, they came on a deep well of water, clear as crystal, from which a freshet. A freshet? Is that a term that means? I'm going to look up a new term here. Freshet. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Okay. An overflow of a stream resulting from heavy rain or thaw. Okay. All right. Learning something new. A threshet. An overflow of rain. Or a stream of fresh water that empties into a body of salt water? I don't know. I'm guessing it's the first one. From which a fresh... Okay.
Here is the spring from which the silver lode rises, said Gimli. Do not drink of it. It is icy cold. Soon it becomes a swift river, and it gathers water from many over mountain streams. Oh, read that wrong. Soon it becomes a swift river, and gathers waters from many others. Soon it becomes a swift river, and it gathers water from many other mountain streams, said Aragorn. A road leads beside it for many miles, for I shall take you by the road that Gandalf chose, And first I hope to come to the woods where the silver lode flows into the great river out yonder.
They looked as he pointed, and before them they could see the stream leaping down to the trough of the They could see the stream leaping down to the trough of the valley, and then running on and away into the lower lands until it was lost in a golden haze. There lie the woods of Lothlorien. There lie the woods of Lothlorien, said Legolas. That is the fairest of all the dwellings for my people. There are no trees like the trees of that land, for in the autumn their leaves fall not, but turn to gold. Not till the spring comes, and the new green opens do they fall, and then the boughs are laden with yellow flowers, and the floor of the wood is golden, and golden is the roof, and its pillars are of silver, for the bark of the trees is smooth and grey. So still our songs in Mirkwood say, my heart would be glad if I were beneath the eaves of that wood, and it were springtime. That is Legolas, apparently. Okay, he has the most he said this whole book. My heart would be glad, even in the winter, said Aragorn, but it lies many miles away. Let us hasten. Let us hasten. For some time, Frodo and Sam managed to keep up with the others, but Aragorn was leading them at a great pace, and after a while they lagged behind. They had eaten nothing since the early morning. Sam's cut was burning like fire, and his head felt light. In spite of the shining sun, the wind seemed chill after the warm darkness of Moria. He shivered. Frodo felt every step more painful, and he gasped for breath. Pretty sure the word... yeah. Sorry, this ain't PG-13. I don't know if any of you are children. Oops. Oopsie daisy. It's my own artistic interpretation of Lord of the Rings, okay? Okay. All right, where were we? They were cold and Frodo painful. At last, Legolas turned, and seeing them now far behind, he spoke to Aragorn. The others halted, and Aragorn ran back, calling to Boromir to come to him. I'm sorry, Frodo, he cried, full of concern. So much has happened this day. We have such need of haste that I have forgotten that you were hurt, and Sam too. We should have spoken. We have nothing to ease you, as we ought, though all the orcs of Moria were after us. Come now. A little further on, there is a place where we can rest a little. There I will do what I can for you. Come, Boromir. We will carry them. We're carrying them. Soon afterwards, they came upon another stream that ran down from the west and joined its bubbling water with the hurrying silver lode. Together they plunged over a fall of green-hued stone and foamed down into the dell. About it stood fir trees, short and bent, and its sides were steep and clothed with hart's tongue and shrubs of whortleberry. At the bottom there was a level space through which the stream flowed noisily over shining pebbles. Man, I feel a little bit stuffed up. God damn it. Oh, okay, I think Alright, I'm back. The guy stopped throwing shit away, so I thought maybe I could open the window. Okay, where were we? Let's see, Okay, God, I'm such a fucking idiot. Okay. Together they plunged over a fall of green-hued stone. Okay, fir trees short and bent, hart's tongue shrubs of whortleberry. At the bottom there was a level space through which the stream flowed noisily over shining petals. Here. Oh, that's not what that says. At the bottom, there was a level space through which the stream flowed noisily over shining pebbles. Here they rested. It was now nearly 3 hours after noon. They had come only a few miles from the gates. Already the sun was westering. While Gimli and the two younger hobbits kindled a fire of brush and fire... While Gimli and the two younger hobbits kindled a fire of brush and firwood, and drew water, Aragorn tended Sam and Frodo. Sam's wound was not deep, but it looked ugly, and Aragorn's face was grave as he examined it. But after a moment, he looked up with relief. Good luck, Sam, he said. Many have received worse than this, in payment for the slaying of their first orc. The cut is not poisoned, and the wounds of orc blades are often too often are. It should heal well when I have tended it. Bathe it when Gimli has heated water. He opened his pouch and drew out some withered leaves. They are still dry, and some of their virtue is gone, he said. But here I have some of the leaves of Athelas that I gathered near Weathertop. Crush one in the water and wash the wound clean, and I will bind it. Now it is your turn, Frodo. This is so us, you and me. This is you and me. Who you are you tending to my wounds? My wounds, is that it? Jacob, I hate this guy. I already don't like him. No, I'm just kidding. No. What are you doing in my chat, Jacob? No, I'm just kidding. We know Jacob. He's cool. It's okay. Okay. I am all right, said Frodo, reluctant to have his garments touched. All I needed was some food and a little rest. No, said Aragorn. We must have a look and see what the hammer and anvil has done to you. Sorry. Okay. No, we must have a look and see what the hammer and the anvil have done to you. I still marvel that you are alive at all. Gently he stripped off Frodo's old jacket and worn tunic and gave a gasp of wonder. And then he laughed. The silver corselet shimmered before his eyes like the light upon a rippling sea. Carefully he took it off and held it up, and the gems on it glittered like stars, and the sound of the shaken rings was like the tinkle of rain in a pool. Look, my friends, he called. Here's a pretty hobbit skin to wrap in elven princeling in. If it were known that hobbits had such hides, all the hunters of Middle-earth would be riding to the Shire. Uh-oh. And all the arrows of all the hunters in the world would be in vain, said Gimli, gazing at the mail in wonder. It is a mithril coat. Mithril! I have never seen or heard tell of one so fair. Is this the coat that Gandalf spoke of? Then he undervalued it. But it was well given. I have often wondered what you and Bilbo were doing so close in his little room, said Merry. Bless the old hobbit. I love him more than ever. I hope we get a chance of telling him about it. There was a dark and blackened bruise on Frodo's right side and breast. Under the mail, there was a shirt of soft leather. But at one point, the rings had been driven through it to the flesh. Into the flesh. Frodo's left side was also scored and bruised, where he had been hurled against the wall. While the others set the food ready, Aragorn bathed the hurts. Aragorn bathed the hurts with water, in which in which Athelis was steeped. The pungent fragrance filled the dell, and all those who stooped over the streaming water felt refreshed and strengthened. Soon Frodo felt the pain leave him, and his breath grew easy, though he was stiff and sore to the touch for many days. Aragorn bound some soft pads of cloth at his side. The mail is a marvelous sight. Oh, the mail is marvelous. I totally read that wrong. God damn. So I'm Frodo and you're Sam? Oh, no. Did you know that they're gay for each other? No, I'm just kidding. There are some kind of gay moments between those two. It's very interesting. But they're not. But they might be. They could be. And no, and no, it's just how Tolkien writes it. You know, they like hold hands and stuff. No, it's happened a couple of times. They're probably not. I know Sam has a sweetheart that he finds at the end or whatever, and Frodo is probably asexual, so probably not. Okay, where were we? The mail is marvelously light, he said. Put it on again. If you can bear it. My heart is glad to know you have such a coat. Do not lay it aside, even in sleep, unless fortune brings you where you are safe for a while. And that will seldom chance while your quest lasts. When they had eaten, the company got ready to go on. They put out the fire and hid all traces of it. Then, climbing out of the dell, they took to the road again. They had not gone far before the sun sank behind the westward heights, and great shadows crept down the mountainsides. Dusk veiled their feet, and mist rose in the hollows. Away in the east, the evening light lay pale upon the dim lands of distant and plain wood. Sam and Frodo, now feeling eased and greatly refreshed, were able to go at a fair pace, and with only one brief halt, Aragorn led the company on for nearly 3 more hours. It was dark. Deep night had fallen. Deep night had fallen. There were many clear stars, but the fast waning moon would not be seen till late. Gimli and Frodo were at the rear, walking softly and not speaking, listening for any sound of the road behind. At length, Gimli broke the silence.
Not a sound but the wind, he said. There are no goblins near, or my ears are made of wood. It is to be hoped that the orcs will be content with driving us from Moria, and maybe that was all their purpose, and they had nothing else to do with us, with the ring, though orcs will often pursue foes for many leagues into the plain, if they have a fallen captain to avenge.
Frodo did not answer. He looked at Sting. The blade was dull, yet he had heard something, or thought he had. As soon as the shadows had fallen about them, and the road behind was dim, he had heard again the quick patter of feet. Even now he heard it. He turned swiftly. There were 2 tiny gleams of light behind. Fuck. I had to cough. I have to cough. Okay. There were 2 tiny gleams of light behind, or for a moment he thought he saw them, but at once they slipped aside and vanished.
What is it?
Said the dwarf.
I don't know, answered Frodo. I thought I heard feet, and I thought I saw light, like eyes. I've thought so often since we first entered Moria.
Gimli halted and stooped to the ground.
I hear nothing but the knight's speech of plant and stone, he said. Come, let us hurry. The others are out of sight.
Whoop. Those eyes, that's Gollum. Surely, right? Surely that is Gollum. Surely.
The night wind blew chill up the valley to meet them. That sentence was weird, but I said it right. Before them, a wide gray shadow loomed, and they heard an endless rustle of leaves, like poplars in the breeze. "Lothlorien! Lothlorien!" cried Legolas. "Lothlorien! We have come to the eaves of the Golden Wood. Alas, that is winter." Elves, am I right? Under the night, the trees stood tall before them, arched over the road and stream that ran suddenly beneath their spreading boughs. In the dim light of the stars, their stems were gray, and their quivering leaves a hint of fallow gold. "Lothlorien," said Aragorn, "glad I am to hear again the wind in the trees. We are still little more than 5 leagues from the gates, but we can go no further. Here, let us hope that the virtue of the elves will keep us tonight from the peril that comes behind." "If elves indeed still dwell here in the darkening world," said Gimli. "It is long since any of my own folk journeyed hither, back to the land where we wandered in ages long ago," said Legolas. "But we hear that Lorien is not yet deserted, for there is a secret power here that holds evil from the land. Nevertheless, its folk are seldom seen, and maybe they dwell now deep in the woods and far from the northern border." "Indeed, deep in the wood they dwell. Indeed, deep in the wood they dwell," said Aragorn, and sighed, as if some memory stirred in him. We must fend for ourselves tonight. We will go forward a short way, until the trees are all about us, and then we will turn aside from the path and seek a place to rest in." He stepped forward, but Boromir stood irresolute and did not follow. "Is there no other way around?" "Is there no other way?" he said. "What other fairer way would you desire?" said Aragorn. "A plain road. Through it led a hedge of swords," said Boromir. "By strange paths has this company been led, and so far to evil fortune. Against my will we passed under the shades of Moria, and to our loss. And now we must enter the Golden Wood, you say. But of that perilous land we have heard in Gondor, and it is said that few come out who once go in, and of that few none have escaped unscathed." "Say not unscathed, but if you say unchanged, then maybe you will speak the truth," said Aragorn. "But law wanes in Gondor, Boromir. If in the city of those who once were wise they now speak evil of Lothlorien, believe what you will, but there's no other way for us, unless you would go back to Moria Gate, or scale the pathless mountains, or swim the great river alone." "Then lead on," said Boromir. "But it is perilous." Perilous indeed," said Aragorn. "Fair and perilous, but only evil need fear it, or those who bring some evil with them. Follow me." For some reason, it's also hard to nail down Aragorn. It's like too similar to my voice, I'm like not going too crazy, just an accent and trying to be epic or whatever. And it's kind of hard to like maintain. They had gone little more than a mile into the forest when they came upon another stream flowing down swiftly from the tree-clad slopes that climbed back westward towards the mountains. They heard it splashing over a fallaway among the shadows on their right. Its dark, hurrying waters ran across the path before them and joined the Silverlode in a swirl of dim pools among the roots of trees. Okay, what the fuck is this? I think the Silverlode is a river, right? I'm pretty sure, like a big river. Fuck. Okay, I have to confirm. Silverlode. Lord of the Rings. Silverlode, also known by its Sindarin name, Celebrant, and the Dwarven name, Kilibnala, is the river in Middle-earth that rises from the east... Okay, it is a river. Okay, got it.
All right. We know what's going on now. We know he's literally me. I'm you. Wait. Then how are we both here? I don't know what you mean, but welcome, Relis. LCT. Okay.
Here is Nimrodel, said Legolas. Of this stream, the Sylvan Elves made many songs long ago, and still we sing them in the north, remembering the rainbow on its falls, and the golden flowers that floated in its foam. All is dark now, and the bridge of Nimrodel is broken down. I will bathe my feet, for it is said that the water is healing to the weary. He went forward and climbed down the deep cloven bank and stepped into the stream. Follow me, he cried. The water is...
Cars. Aragorn is you. Oh, Aragorn? You must think you're all that, huh? No, I'll give it to you. I don't know you, but I'll give it to you. You're Aragorn. You're Aragorn. You want to do the the guest voice for Aragorn? I'll give it to you next time. Next time the Aragorn line comes up. Which is, oh no, there's a song. Fuck. Okay, well, let's keep reading. Okay.
Follow? Yes, I am Legolas. Follow me.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get in character.
He cried. The water is not deep. Let us wade across. On the further bank we can rest, and the sound of the falling water may bring us sleep and forgetfulness of grief. One by one they climbed down and followed Legolas. For a moment Frodo stood near the brink and let the water flow over his tired feet. It was cold, but its touch was clean. And as he went on, and it mounted to his knees, he felt that the stain of travel and all weariness was washed from his limbs. When all the company had crossed, they sat and rested, and ate a little food, and Legolas told them tales of Lothlorien that the elves of Mirkwood still kept in their hearts, of sunlight and starlight upon the meadows by the great river, before the world was grey. At length a silence fell, and they heard the music of the waterfall running sweetly in the shadows. Almost Frodo fancied that he could hear a voice singing, mingled with the sound of the water. Do you hear the voice of Nimrodel? Asked Legolas. I will sing you a song of the maiden Nimrodel, who bore the same name as the stream beside which she lived long ago. It is a fair song in our woodland tongue, but this is how it runs in the western speech, as some in Rivendell now sing it. In a soft voice, hardly to be heard amid the rustle of the leaves above them, he began. Fucking gotta sing a song. Nah, JK. But my first D&D character I ever made was basically a copy of Aragorn. That sounds about right. Yeah. I think mine was probably not far off from that either, actually. Yeah, not really, not far off. He was half elf, so yeah. Like a combination of, no, he did he use a bow? He did use a bow. Combination of Aragorn and Legolas. Yeah, but sorry. That I must have made subconsciously because I only had seen a part of the movies and never read the books at the time. Was he a ranger? Did you make a ranger? Mine was a rogue. It was a long time after that I realized they were basically the same character. So you made a ranger? Did you make him a ranger? That's basically exactly what Aragorn is, so I don't know what else to say. Okay, I have to sing a fucking song now, so I'm not good at singing, okay? We got a lot of new people in our chat tonight. I don't know if you've watched the other streams, probably not, because there are a lot of them, and it's only been a week since people started actually watching me. But I'm bad at singing, so everyone lower your hopes now. And I have to sing as Legolas. Okay. Legolas, okay, wait, how much do I have to sing? Oh, no! Fuck! Why? Why does he do this to me?
This is like a page and a half of singing. Fucking Tolkien, man. Like, bruh. Like I know my sister's not here. She really loves it when I have to sing. It's a fighter. Okay, yeah. I mean, he could be a fighter. Let's be real. He's a fighter, but played as a ranger. Used bow and sword. Yeah, yeah. He could be a ranger. Or he could be a fighter. I guess the main thing is that he just is like too knowledgeable to be a fighter. You know, this is not where I become a star, Colby. No, not this one. Not this. Okay, this is not gonna cut it. I don't like. Not to say like maybe if I planned and practiced or like I knew what notes to sing, it would be okay. But probably not. But like I don't have notes. There's just words on a fucking page, and I'm trying to do it in character. Okay. Let's just get it over with. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Yeah, singing from books is hard. Yeah, Relis gets it. Relis is my homie, my D&D homie. I love D&D. This is a D&D tattoo. These are the schools of magic in D&D. You would appreciate. Oh, it's upside down. Like that. You see that? Isn't that fun? Okay, sorry. I'm a huge D&D nerd. Huge D&D nerd. Okay. All right, Legolas, do you hear the voice of Nimrodel? I will sing you the song of the maiden Nimrodel. An elven maid there was of old, a shining star by day. Her mantle white was hemmed with gold, her shoes of silver grey. A star was bound upon her brows, a light was on her hair, a sun upon the golden bows. In Lothlorien the fair, her hair was long, her limbs were white. I can't. It's just like Where do I do? What am I supposed to do? I honestly kind of want to stop fucking trying to sing because it's just hard, and I don't sound good. Can I just do it poetic? Can I do it like poetry? Can we do that? Is that allowed? My sister's not here. Who's the one who normally tries to make me sing every song that comes up. We're just going to do that. Now that I have pride. Oh, okay. Her hair was long and limbs were white, and fair she was and free. Thank you. Oh, yeah, was I? Oh. God. Every time I come up with a song, it just gives me anxiety. Now that you say that, I feel like I have to finish, but I know that it's terrible, but whatever. Okay. Her hair was long, her limbs were white, and fair she was and free. And in the wind she went as light as leaf of linden tree. Beside the falls of Nimrodel, by water clear and cool, her voice was falling silver fell into the shining pool. Where now she wanders none can tell, in sunlight or in shade, for lost of yore was Nimrodel, in the mountains strayed. The elven ship in haven grey, beneath the mountain lee, awaited her for many a day, beside the roaring sea. A wind by night in northern lands arose and loud it cried, and drove the ship from elven strands across the streaming tide. When down came dim, the land was lost, the mountains sinking grey. Beyond the heaving waves that tossed their plumes of blinding spray, Amroth beheld the fading shore, now low behind the swell, and cursed the faithless ship that bore him far from Nimrodel. God, it just keeps fucking going. Holy crap. Yeah. It sounds like I'm sitting around a campfire. That's good. I'll take that. Oh. Where was I? Okay. Of old... Legolas. Yes, I am Legolas. Of old he was an elven king, a lord of tree and glen. When elven were the bows in spring in fair Lothlorien, from helm to sea they saw him leap, an arrow from the string, and dive into the water deep, as Mew upon the wing. The wind was in his flowing hair, the foam about him shone. After they saw him strong and fair go riding like a swan. But from the west no word, and on the hither shore no tidings elven folk have heard of Amroth evermore. Hey, wait! The next line. The voice of Legolas faltered, and the song ceased. See, Legolas' voice faltered. I nailed it. I sounded perfect. There's lots of faltering. I faltered hard. I nailed that shit with the faltering. Yeah, no, that's a good point, though. You know, just campfire singing, right? Not a big deal. The problem is that every song sounds the same because my notes just naturally go to the same nonsense because I don't know what else to do. It's like an instinct or something. So every song sounds exactly the same. And I'm definitely probably off key. But whatever, okay? I'm not a singer, okay? I'm a speaker, okay? I do words, okay? Okay? If I was doing this professionally, you know, I feel like this would be a whole thing that you would have to figure out, for sure. But I don't have to do that. Thank you. We survived. My sister would be proud that I made it through the whole frickin' song. Okay. The voice of Legolas faltered, and the song ceased. I cannot sing it anymore. Whoop. I cannot sing anymore, he said. That is but a part. That is but a part, for I have forgotten much. It is long and sad, for it tells how sorrow came upon Lothlorien, Lorien of the Blossom, when the dwarves awakened evil in the mountains. That was half of it. He forgot. Oh, he forgot a lot. He forgot a bunch of it. That wasn't even most of the song. Thank God he forgot most of it. Thank you, Relis. You're a real one, brother or sister. I don't know much about you, but you made Aragorn. I can only assume. And that's not good to assume. It's not good to assume. Or progressive, whatever. Okay. But the dwarves did not make the evil, said Gimli. I said so, yet evil came. I said not so, yet evil came, answered Legolas sadly. Then many of the elves of Nimrodell's kindred left their dwellings and departed, and she was lost far in the south, in the passes of the White Mountains, and she came not to the ship where Amroth, her lover, waited for her, but in the spring, when the wind is in the new leaves, the echo of her voice may still be heard by the falls that bear her name, and when the wind is in the south, the voice of Amroth comes up from the sea, for Nimrodell flows into Silverlode, that elves call Celebrant, and Celebrant into Anduin the Great, and Anduin flows into the bay of Belfalas, whence the elves of Lorien set sail, but neither Nimrodell nor Amroth came ever back. It is told that she had a house built in the branches of a tree that grew near the falls, for that was the custom of the elves of Lorien, to dwell in the trees, and maybe it is so still. Therefore they were called Galadrim, the tree people. The tree people. I'm getting likes, apparently. There's hearts popping up. Oh, yeah, I forgot that was a feature in YouTube chat. Okay. Therefore, they called the Galadrim the tree people. Deep in the forest of the trees are very great. The people of the woods did not delve into the ground like dwarves, nor build strong places of stone before the shadow came. And even in these later days, dwelling in the trees might be thought safer than sitting on the ground, said Gimli. He looked across the stream to the road that led back to Dimrill Dale, and then up into the roof of the dark boughs above.
Your words bring good counsel, Gimli, said Aragorn. We cannot build a house, but tonight we will do as the Galadrim, and seek refuge in the tree tops if we can. We have sat here beside the road already longer than was wise. I made Rallis a copy of Aragorn. Yeah, my YouTube name is my D&D character. Oh, hey! Oh, that's what I get it. You said because Aragorn is literally me, is Rallis. And Rallis is a copy of Aragorn. I get it. Full name, Rallis Lomright Calatier Tagiaska. That is a name worthy of Tolkien right there. I did not say that right at all. I'm sure I put Rallis Lomright Calatier Tagiaska. You got to give me a pronunciation guide on that one. I'm sorry. You got to give me a pronunciation guide. Gimli is a bro. Yeah, Gimli's a bro. Gimli and Legolas have like a special bond, where like they hate each other, but actually they love each other. I feel like it's a little bright here. Okay. Where were we? The company now turned. Wait. Okay, yeah, no, I'm in the right spot. The company now turned aside from the path and went into the shadow of the deeper woods, westward along the mountain stream, away from Silverlode. Not far from the falls of Nimrodel, they found a cluster of trees, some of which overhung the stream. The great trunks were of mighty girth, but their height could not be guessed. I will climb up, said Legolas. I am at home among the trees, by root or bow. Though these trees are of a kind strange to me, save as a name and song. Melrin they are called, and are those that bear the yellow blossom. But I have never climbed in one. I will see now what is their shape and way of growth. Whatever it may be, said, I'm trying to do Pippin again. He doesn't talk a lot. Whatever it may be, said Pippin, they will be marvelous trees. Indeed, if they can offer any rest at night, except to the birds, I cannot sleep on a perch. That's Pippin. Then dig a hole in the ground, said Legolas. If that is more after the fashion of your kind, but you must dig swift and deep, if you wish to hide from orcs. He sprang lightly up from the ground and caught a branch that grew from the trunk high above his head. But even as he swung there for a moment, a voice spoke suddenly from the tree shadows above him. Darrow! Wait, Darrow. Darrow is a word that is probably Elvish, and it sounds like, Darrow! It said in commanding tone. Darrow! Commanding tone. Darrow! D-E-R-O. No, D-A-R-O, sorry. Still like the name. Brings back some good D&D memories. And always some cringe ones. Gotta have the cringe D&D memories, dude. And the good ones, of course, but we're all about the cringe. That's funny. Your DM sure had a time trying to say that name, huh? I bet. All right. Darrow. Trying to figure out how I would say that. Darrow. It said in a commanding tone, and Legolas dropped back to earth in surprise and fear. He shrank against the bole of the tree. Stand still, he whispered to the others. Do not move or speak. There was a sound of soft laughter over their heads, and then another clear voice spelled, fuck. Sometimes when I'm reading chat and I just can't focus. But you should keep talking. Y'all gotta keep talking because it's more fun that way, but sometimes hopping back and forth, it's hard to focus on the words properly. There was a sound of soft laughter over their heads, and then another clear voice spoke in an elven tongue. Frodo could understand little of what was said, for the speech that the sylvan folk east of the mountains used among themselves was unlike that of the west. Legolas looked up and answered in the same language.
These mountains are like the Rocky Mountains. There's an east and a west. You know, they came from the west of the Rocky Mountains and moved to the east of the Rocky. So I live in Colorado, in case that wasn't obvious. and I just, these mountains, like they went through the mines of Moria through these mountains. It's like, except for the Rocky Mountains are way bigger than that, but whatever. Okay, so it's probably more like the Appalachian Mountains, I guess. Not as big, not as many. Okay. All right, where were we? Okay. Frodo could understand. Okay. Legolas looked up. Oh, okay. Frodo could understand little of what was said, for the speech that of the sylvan folk east of the mountains used among themselves was unlike that of the west. Legolas looked up and answered in the same language. "Who are they, and what do they say?" asked Merry. "They're elves," said Sam. "Can't you hear their voices?" "Yes, they are elves," said Legolas, "and they say that you breathe so loud they could shoot you in the dark." Sam hastily put his hand over his mouth. "But they also say that you have no need to fear." "Oh, but they also say you have no fear. They have been aware of us for a long while. They heard my voice across the Nimrod Dell, and knew nothing, and knew that I was one of their northern kindred, and therefore they did not hinder our crossing. And afterwards they heard my song. Now they bid me climb up with Frodo, for they seem to have some tidings of him and of our journey. The others they ask to wait a little, and to keep watch for the foot of the tree, until they have decided what is to be done." It's so distracting. It does seem like it would be hard. It's hard to read when I'm by myself. I always read. Yeah, I know. And now people are watching me, and I'm wasting time by just being like, okay, where am I? Imagine Everest. Probably not. I need Subway Surfers in the corner. Yeah, just get a bookmark. Get like a digital, like a tablet bookmark, and put Subway Surfers on it. There you go. Science, technology. Let's start a business. We'll make money. Certainly. Okay. Out of the shadows, a ladder was let down. Oh. Out of the shadows, a ladder was let down. It was made of rope, silver gray, and glimmering in the dark. And though it looked slender, it proved strong enough to bear many men. Legolas ran lightly up, and Frodo followed slowly. Behind came Sam, trying not to breathe loudly. The branches of the Malern tree grew out nearly straight from the trunk, and then swept upward. But near the top, the main stem divided into a crown of many bows, and among these they found that there had been built a wooden platform, or flet, as such things were called in those days. The elves called it a talon. What? The elves called it a talon. A talon? Talon? It's Talan. So it sounds like talon, but it's not talon. Okay. It was reached by a round hole in the center through which the ladder passed. The brain rot bookmark. Or you could just do this. Just have your phone up. Put it on a thing right in front of your book. And just look at it. Okay. Fucking brain rot. Okay. When Frodo came at last up onto the flet, he found Legolas seated with 3 other elves. They were clad in shadowy gray, and could not be seen among the tree stems unless they moved suddenly. They stood up, and one of them uncovered a small lamp that gave out a slender silver beam. He held it up, looking at Frodo's face.
looking at Frodo's face and Sam's. Then he shut off the light again and spoke words of welcome in his elven tongue. Frodo spoke haltingly in return. "Welcome," the elf said. Oh, the elf then said again in the common language, speaking slowly. "We seldom you." Oh, now I gotta have another elf that sounds different than Legolas. "Welcome. We seldom use any tongue but our own, for we dwell now in the heart of the forest, and do not willingly have dealings with any other folk. Even our own kindred in the north are sundered from us, but there are some of us still who go abroad for the gatherings of news, and are watching of our enemies, and they speak of languages of other lands. I am one. Haldir is my name. My brothers, Rumil and Orphan, speak little of your tongue. But we have heard rumors of your coming, for the messengers of Elrond passed by Lorien on their way home up the Dimril stair. We have not heard of hobbits, of halflings, for many a long year, and did not know that any yet dwelt in Middle-earth. You do not look evil, and since you come with an elf of our kindred, we are willing to befriend you, as Elrond asked, though it is not our custom to lead strangers through our land. But you must stay here tonight. How many are you?
8.
8.
Oh, 8. Legolas. Now I gotta go from elf to elf. Okay.
8, said Legolas. Myself, 4 hobbits, 2 wise men, one of whom, Aragorn, is an elf friend of the folk of Westerness. The name of Aragorn, son of Arathorn, is known in Lorien, said Haldir, and he has fought the favour of the lady. All then is well, but you have yet spoken only of 7. The 8th is a dwarf, said Legolas. A dwarf, said Haldir. That is not well. We have not had dealings with the dwarves since the dark days. They are not permitted in our land. I cannot allow him to pass.
Racism? What a bunch of racismists. Can't believe they're doing a racism up in him. That's messed up. But he is from the Lonely Mountain, one of Dane's trusty people, and friendly to Elrond, said Frodo. Elrond himself chose him to be one of our companions, and he has been brave and faithful.
The elves spoke together in soft voices and questioned Legolas in their own tongue. Very good, said Haldir at last. We will do this, though it is against our liking. If Aragorn and Legolas will guard him and answer for him, he shall pass, but he must go blindfold through Lothlorien. But we must debate no longer. Your folk must not remain on the ground. We have been keeping watch on the rivers ever since we saw a great troop of orcs going north towards Moria, along the skirts of the mountains many days ago. Wolves are howling on the wood's borders. If you have indeed come from Moria, the peril cannot be far behind. Tomorrow, early, you must go on. The 4 hobbits shall climb up here and stay with us. We do not fear them. There is another talon in the next tree. There the others must take refuge. You, Legolas, must answer to us for them. Call us if anything is amiss, and have an eye on that dwarf.
Racismist. Utter buffoonery. Why would you be racist to the dwarf? That's mad evil. I can't believe you do something like that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Okay. How much longer do I got left in this chapter? Because we were at 2 hours. I have a feeling this is going to be a long stream. Oh, okay, no, we're okay. We just gotta hunker down. We gotta hunker down. Okay. Legolas at once went down the ladder to take Haldir's message, and soon afterwards, Merry and Pippin clambered up onto the high flet. They were out of breath and seemed rather scared. There, said Merry, panting. We have a luggage. We have lugged up on your we have lugged up your blankets as well as our own, Strider has hidden all the rest of our baggage in a drift of leaves. You had no need of your burdens, said Haldir. It is cold in the treetops in winter, though the wind tonight is in the south. But we have food and drink to give you that will drive away the night chill, and we have skins and clothes to spare. The hobbits accepted this second, and far better, supper very gladly. Then they wrapped themselves warmly, not only in the fur cloaks of the elves, but in their own blankets as well, and tried to go to sleep. But as weary as they were, only Sam found that easy to do. Hobbits did not like heights, and do not sleep upstairs, even when they have any stairs. The flat was not at all to their liking as a bedroom. It had no walls, not even a rail. Only on one side was there a light-plated screen, which could be moved and fixed in different places according to the wind. Pippin went on talking for a while. I hope, if I do go to sleep in this bird loft, that I shan't roll off, he said. Once I do not get to sleep, said Sam, I shall go on sleeping. Mr. Frodo. Sorry, I gotta get into the mood. I gotta get into Sam voice. Mr. Frodo, I shall go on sleeping, whether I roll off or no. And the less said, the sooner I'll drop off, if you take my meaning. No rail, gross, I know. Heights scare much? Frodo lay for some time awake, and looked up at the stars glinting through the pale roof of quivering leaves. Sam was snoring at his side long before he himself closed his eyes. He could dimly see the gray forms of two elves sitting motionless, with their arms about their knees, speaking in whispers. The other hand had gone down to take up his watch on one. The other hand? I said words wrong. The other had gone down to take up his watch on one of the lower branches. At last, lulled by the wind in the boughs above, and the sweet murmur of the falls of Nimmerdale below, Frodo fell asleep with the song of Legolas running in his mind. Hey, you gonna make it, bro? Yeah, you're 331? That's pretty early now. Now we got 700 and something. Churchy? How do you say your name? Churchy858QL. We're just gonna call you Churchy. Or Kirchy. Curhy? Cree? It's great to have you here. How many subs are we at? Let's find out. Nice. We've gained like a couple of subs since the stream started. This video has been popping off, eh? Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep making videos. I got videos coming. Don't worry. Hopefully. Yeah, but we are reading Lord of the Rings. Where are we? Let's see. There, Pippin. No, once I go to sleep, I shall. Frodo lay awake for some time. Okay. Late in the night, he woke. The other hobbits were asleep. The elves were gone. The sickle moon was gleaming dimly among the leaves. The wind was still. A little way off, he heard a harsh laugh and the tread of many feet on the ground below. There was a ring of metal. The sounds died slowly away. It seemed to go southward, on into the wood. A head appeared suddenly in the hole of the flet. Frodo sat up in alarm and saw that it was a gray, hooded elf. He looked towards the hobbits. "What is it?" said Frodo. Yurch! What? Yurch! Sorry, I don't know what that... He's at 51 mil subs? Yeah, 51 mil. I don't know if we're going to make that 51 mil. That would be fucking insane. I mean, there are YouTubers who've been around since the dawn of YouTube that don't have that many subs. I saw your unicorn channel. Oh, yeah, the daily vlog. You found it, did ya? It was really interesting. Yeah, it's a little it's got novelty to it. I'll admit that. You know, at the time I was making, I was very embarrassed by it, to be honest, and by just kind of
suckered my way through it. I sucked it up and made it through, and but now it is kind of like an interesting look back in history. To be honest, wasn't the worst. Wasn't the worst vlog. It is. I suppose it could be considered interesting. But I appreciate that. That was well, you watched the video, so you know the story mostly. Okay, let's see. "Church," said the elf in a hissing whisper, and cast on the flet the rope ladder. And cast onto the flet the rope ladder rolled up. "Orcs," said Frodo. "What are they doing?" The elf had gone. There were no more sounds. Even the leaves were silent, and the very falls seemed to be hushed. Frodo sat and shivered in his wraps. He was thankful they had not been caught on the ground, but he felt that the trees offered little protection except concealment. Orcs were as keen as hounds on a scent, it was said, but they could also climb. He drew out Sting. It flashed and glittered like a blue flame, and then slowly faded again and grew dull. In spite of the fading of his sword, the feeling of immediate danger did not leave Frodo. Rather, it grew stronger. He got up and crawled to the opening and peered down. He was almost certain that he could hear stealthy movements at the tree's foot far below. What type of content did you watch back then? Oh, shit, 2016? Well, I was loosely inspired by Casey Neistat. Obviously, it didn't work out. It was not that good. I've watched, I don't know. I've watched YouTube for a long time, since high school, which for me was like the 2010, 2011, 2013, that range. So I've watched for a long time. Gaming, I watched a long time. It's all kinds of games through the years and vlogs and other stuff. 2016 was a long time ago, so I don't know. But Casey Neistat was one of the things that I watched some of. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to remember. The VidCon. Oh, did you watch the VidCon video? Oof. Yeah. Yep. I was at that VidCon. And I had a bad time. You could probably tell from the video, but I had a really bad time at that VidCon. I was lonely. I went there by myself, and I was lonely, and I felt so anxious. It was crazy, and I had trouble holding, a camera and talking to it in front of people. And gosh, that was a whole thing. Oh man, I forgot that was even in there, because that was actually after the whole vlog had ended, maybe about a few months or a year. Because I didn't realize I accidentally skipped an episode. Don't tell anybody this. I accidentally skipped an episode of the vlog. And so I need to have this completed. So I did a special vlog where I did it later on. Basically months or a year later or whatever, I vlogged some stuff, like my trip with the friends and then VidCon, and I turned that into the missing episode. So it was a complete, even though it wasn't technically complete, because I did kind of miss a day. I don't know if I missed a day or if it might have just been that I miscounted or something. I don't remember. I have no idea why. But don't tell anybody, okay? Don't tell anybody. You just joined up when you saw the last video. Oh yeah. The my video that's popping off right now, that's fucking crazy. Yeah. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I'm doing Trill, dude. We're reading a book. Isn't that crazy? Thank you for joining, Cinemike. Cinemike. I like that. Okay. Now we're getting nostalgic. Talking about the vlog. Okay, let's keep reading because I have a few pages left, and we got to get through this. Let's see. Yeah. Grew dull. He got up and crawled the opening. He was almost certain that he could hear stealthy movements at the tree's foot far below. Not elves, for the woodland folk. Fuck, why can't I talk? For the woodland. Sometimes reading chat and going back to the book is a little challenging. But once again, don't stop talking. It's great. We love the feedback. The interaction, the excitement. For the woodland folk were altogether noiseless in their movements. Then, it's a loud car. A blend of Robert Pattinson, Daniel Radcliffe, and Ryan Gosling. Thank you. Thank you. Those are some handsome men. I appreciate it greatly. Okay. Then he heard faintly a sound like sniffing, and something seemed to be scrabbling on the bark of the tree trunk. He stared down into the dark, holding his breath. Something was now climbing slowly, and its breath came like a soft hissing through closed teeth. Then, coming up, close to the stem, Frodo saw 2 pale eyes. They stopped and gazed upward, unwinking. Suddenly they turned away, and a shadowy figure slipped round the trunk of the tree and vanished. Gollum! It's Gollum! That's Gollum! Gollum! I have to do a Gollum voice eventually. Immediately afterwards, Haldir came climbing swiftly up through the branches. There was something in this tree that I have never seen before, he said. It was not an orc. It fled as soon as I touched the tree stem. It seemed to be wary, and to have some skills in trees, or I might have thought it was one of you hobbits. I did not shoot, for I dared not arouse any cries. We cannot risk battle. A strong company of orcs has passed. They crossed the Nimrodel, cursed their foul feet in its clean water, and went on down the old road beside the river. They seemed to pick up some scent, and they searched the ground for a while, near the place where you halted. The 3 of us could not challenge 100, so we went ahead and spoke with feigned voices, leading them on into the wood. Orofin has now gone in haste back to our dwellings to warn our people. None of the orcs will ever return out of Lorien, and there will be many elves hidden on the northern border before another night falls. But you must take the road south as soon as it is fully light. Bam! I believe his government name is Smeagol. This is true. Government voice, Smeagol. Something about my sexy voice. Oh, Somebody's being nice. Okay, where are we at? Zakar. Day came pale from the east. As the light grew, it filtered through the yellow leaves of the mallow, and it seemed to the hobbits that the early sun of a cool summer's morning was shining. Pale blue sky peeped among the moving branches. Looking through an opening on the south side of the flat, Frodo saw all the valley of the Silverlode, lying like a sea of fallow gold, tossing gently in the breeze. The morning was still young and cold when the company set out again, guided now by Haldir and his brother Rumil. "Farewell, sweet Nimrodel," cried Legolas. Frodo looked back and caught a gleam of white foam among the gray tree stems. "Farewell," he said. It seemed to him that he would never hear again a running water so beautiful, forever blending its innumerable notes into an endless, changeful music. They went back to the path that still went on along the west side of the Silverlode, and for some way they followed it southward. There were prints of orc feet in the earth, but soon Haldir turned aside into the trees and halted on the bank of the river under their shadows. More chat. Read all of Gollum's lines in a sexy voice. Okay.
I am Gollum. It's great to meet you.
No, I'm just kidding.
My name's Gollum, and I'm really sexy. Gollum. Oh, yeah.
Okay. We're not. That would be hilarious. That would actually be hilarious. But we're not going to do that because I'm being funny in between, but I'm not being funny. I'm trying to read it seriously mostly. So we're not doing sexy Gollum. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Soon Holly returned his and halted. There is one of my people yonder across the stream, he said, though you may not see him. He gave a call like a low whistle of a bird, and out of a thicket of young trees an elf stepped, clad in gray, with his hood thrown back. His hair glinted like gold in the morning sun. Haldir skillfully cast over Haldir skillfully cast over the stream a coil of gray rope, and he caught it and bound the end about a tree near the bank. Celebrant is already a strong stream here, as you see, said Haldir, and it runs both swift and deep, and is very cold. We do not set foot in it so far north unless we must, but in these days of watchfulness we do not make bridges. This is how we cross. Follow me. He made his end of the rope fast about another tree, and then ran lightly along it, over the river and back again, as if he were on a road. As he expects everybody to do that shit? What the heck? Everyone else is going to be running on the rope? Like a bunch of college kids doing some slacklining? Isn't that... Does anybody remember slacklining? Okay. Don't be mad if I drift off. No, it's good. That's great. You know, if it's a good enough energy for you to drift off, yo, we're chill. Okay, that's good. We love it. We love it when the vibes are chill. You know what I mean? Next playthrough, I guess. Yeah. Also read more different things other than learning. You should do commentary on current events and stuff. You know what's funny is I did actually do that. I didn't talk about it in the video, but I did have a channel like about a year ago that I was doing commentary on things that I did not mention. But I could do more of that on this channel. I mean, why not? You know, why not? I got to make videos about something, right? If I'm going to be consistent, right? Slacklining was the worst. You got it. Stupid slackliners. Okay. I can walk this path, said Legolas, but the others have not this skill. Must they swim? No, said Haldir. We have 2 more ropes. We will fasten them above the other, one shoulder high, and another half high. And holding these, the strangers should be able to cross with care. When this slender bridge had been made, the company passed over, some cautiously and slowly, others more easily. Of the hobbits, Pippin proved the best, for he was sure-footed, and he walked over quickly, holding only with one hand, but he kept his eyes on the bank ahead and did not look down. Sam shuffled along, clutching hard and looking down into the pale, eddying water as if it was a chasm in the mountains. Sorry. Current events are very depressing. This is true. Yeah. Current events are miserably depressing. So, yeah, maybe we approach that with caution, you know? You should read the unfinished tales of Tolkien. There are unfinished tales of Tolkien? We're going to Google that real fast. Oh. Well, we got to finish this first, obviously, but Unfinished Tales of Numenor, Middle-earth. 1980 collection of stories and essays by J.R.R. Tolkien that were never completed during his lifetime, but were edited by his son, Christopher Tolkien, and published in 1980. Okay, cool. That would actually be sick. We could do that at some point. For sure. That will be fun. Because Lord of the Rings is not going to last forever. We're going to have to do other stuff, you know? If this were to become my full-time job, somehow, miraculously, I could make time to do more nonsense. Got a personality for the internet. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I'm charming as shit, okay? You don't have to tell me twice, all right? True to have fucking current events, yeah. There's 4 books. Lord of the Rings. Oh, 14? Wait, sorry. What is that? What did you write there? 14? Is that 14? Lord of the Rings is just 1. I don't know what that means, but I assume that means there's plenty more. Okay, but do what you what are you, a snake? No, I'm just kidding. What you want in life, man. Do what you want. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm trying. That's why we're here. That's why we're here, baby. We're living the dream. We're trying to live the dream. Okay. 14. Okay, yeah. Okay, 14. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure if it was like, I don't know, man. I've been reading a lot of Tolkien. He says a lot of weird things, you know, a lot of words that you just like make you second guess yourself. You read it and you're like, what did he just say? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm on edge about these words. So when you said 1'4", I was like, is this a Tolkienism? Like, is this a Tolkienism? I don't. Okay. Let's keep reading. So many chats. Let's see with this slender. Okay, Pippin did good. Sam shuffled along, clenching hard, looking pale, adding water to chasm in the mountains. He breathed. Okay. He breathed with. Why can't I talk? Okay. He breathed with relief when he was safely across. Live and learn, as my gaffer used to say. Though he was thinking of gardening, not of roosting like a bird, nor of trying to walk like a spider. Not even my Uncle Andy ever did a trick like that. When at length all the company was gathered on the east bank of the Silver Lode, the elves untied the ropes and coiled 2 of them. Rumiel, who had remained on the other side, drew back the last one, slung it over his shoulder, and with a wave of his hand went away, back to Nimrodel to keep watch. Now, friend... Oh, shit, I got it. Yes, I am Nimrodel. I am Haldir. Now, friends, said Haldir, you have entered the Nath of Lorien, or the Gore, as you would say, for it is the land that lies like a spearhead between the arms of Silverlode and Anduin the Great. We allow no strangers to spy out the secrets of the Nath. Few indeed are permitted even to set foot there. As was agreed, I shall here blindfold the eyes of Gimli the dwarf. The others may walk free for a while, until we come nearer to our dwellings down in Egladil, and the angle between the waters. This was not at all to the liking of Gimli. The agreement was made without my consent, he said. Valid point, Gimli. Consent's very important. I will not walk blindfold like a beggar or a prisoner. I am no spy. My folk have never had dealings with any of the servants of the enemy. Neither have we done harm to the elves. I am no more likely to betray you than Legolas or any other of my companions. I do not doubt you, said Haldir. Yet this is our law. I am not the master of this law, and cannot set it aside. I have done much in letting you set foot over Celebrant. Gimli was obstinate. He planted his feet firmly apart, and laid his hand upon the haft of his axe. I will go forward free, he said, or I will go back and seek my own land, where I am known to be true of word, though I perish alone in the wilderness. You cannot go back, said Haldir sternly. Now you have come thus far. You must be brought before the Lord and the Lady. They shall judge you, to hold you, or to give you leave as they will. You cannot cross the rivers again, and behind you there are now secret sentinels that you cannot pass. You would be slain before you saw them. This is getting intense. Last thing I read was Liar's Poker by Michael Lewis. I don't know what the heck that is. Honestly, I started reading again for the first time in forever, like less than a year ago. Don't tell anybody. Like, I got to high school and I stopped reading because AP English ruined reading for me, and then I didn't pick up reading again until several months ago when I started reading Dungeon Crawler Carl. And I also realized that reading would be a good skill with my voice, which is why I'm doing this now. I'm a fraud. I know. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. I'm going to look this up. Liar's Poker. Nonfiction semi-autobiographical look by Michael Lewis describing the author's experience as a bond salesman on Wall Street. In the late 1980s. Interesting. Liar's Poker. It matches the title. It does, indeed. Me too, man. But reading is important as hell. Yeah, it is. My mom is a teacher in middle school, and she is speaking of dark times ahead with the literacy of our youth in this country. Apparently, it's all going the fuck downhill with the literacy. So yeah, reading's important, and we got to do it, and we should keep doing it forever because it's good. Nice book, The Big Short. I know things. I'm cultured. I'm not looking this up. It's a book. Oh, it's got Gosling and Pitt. Oh my god. It's this is like, it's got the same titling of like classic old films where they just show the last name in big letters. Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt. Oh shit, that's quite a cast right there, huh? That might be a one to watch. It's not just the US, shit's mezzy here in OZ. OZ? What does that mean? What is that? Oz? Are you in Oz? Are you a Wizard of Oz? Are you from Oz? My, how interesting. I'm sure that's something that I'm just a fucking idiot. Reading levels too low. No one reads for fun. Yeah, not with the way the internet is and like TikTok and all this stuff. Okay, let's keep reading. We're getting way too distracted. I gotta finish this chapter before 10. Gimli drew his axe from his belt. Haldir and his companions bent their bows. A plague on dwarfs and their stiff necks, said Legolas. Come, said Aragorn. If I am still to lead this company, you must do as I bid. It is hard upon the dwarf to be thus singled out. We will all be blindfold, even Legolas. This will be the best, though it will make the journey slow and dull. Gimli laughed suddenly. A merry troop of fools shall look. Will Haldir lead us all on a string, like many blind beggars, with one dog? But I will be content, if only Legolas here shares my blindness. Uh-oh, here it comes. Australia. Okay, Australia. Okay, got it. It is late. It is late. What time is it for you over there? It's 9:30 p.m. here. It's not that late. But, okay. Sorry, let's read. I get distracted easily. I am an elf and a kinsman here. I am Legolas. Why can't I? Okay, Legolas's voice is, I am Legolas. I am Legolas. I speak like this. I am an elf and a kinsman here, said Legolas, becoming angry in his turn. Now let us cry. A plague on the stiff neck of elves. Oh, wait, no, that is Aragorn, sorry. Now let us cry. A plague on the stiff necks of elves, he said. Or said Aragorn. But the company shall all fare alike. Come, blind our eyes, Haldir. I shall claim full amends for every fall and stubbed toe, if you do not lead us well, said Gimli, as they bound a cloth about his eyes. You will have no claim, said Haldir. I shall lead you well,
and the paths are smooth and straight. Alas for the folly of these days, said Legolas. Here all are enemies of the one enemy, and yet I must walk blind, while the sun is merry in the woodland under leaves of gold. Folly it may seem, said Haldir. Indeed, nothing is the power of the Dark Lord more clearly shown than in the estrangement that divides all those who still oppose him. Yet so little faith and trust do we find now in the world beyond Lothlorien, unless maybe in Rivendell, that we dare not by our own trust endanger our land. We live now upon an island amid many perils, and our hands are more often upon the bowstring than upon the harp. The rivers long defended us, but they are a sure guard no more, for the shadow has crept northward all about us. Some speak of departing, yet for that it already seems too late. Mountains to the west are growing evil, and to the east the lands are a waste, and full of Sauron's creatures, and it is rumored that we cannot now safely pass southward through Rohan, and the mouths of the great river are watched by the enemy. Even if we could come to the shores of the sea, we should find no longer any shelter there. It is said that there are still havens of the high elves, but they are far north and west beyond the land of the halflings. But where that may be, though the Lord and the Lady may know, I do not. You ought to at least guess, since you have seen us, said Merry. There are elf havens west of my land, the Shire, where hobbits live. Happy folk are hobbits to dwell near the shores of the sea, said Haldir. It is long indeed since any of my folk have looked on it, yet we still remember it in song. Tell me of these havens as we walk. I cannot, said Merry. I have never seen them. I have never been out of my own land before, and if I had known that the world outside was like, I don't think I should have had the heart to leave it. Not even to see the fair Lothlorien, said Haldir. The world is indeed full of peril, and there are many dark places, but still there is much that is fair. Though in all lands love is now mingled with grief, it grows perhaps the greater. Some there are among us who sing that the shadow will draw back, and peace shall come again. Yet I do not believe that the world about us will ever again be as it was of old, or the light of the sun as it was aforetime. For the elves, I fear, it will prove at best a truce, in which they may pass to the sea unhindered, and leave the Middle Earth forever. Alas, for Lothlorien that I love, it would be a poor life in a land where no malorn grew. But if there are malorn trees beyond the great sea, none have reported it. And they spoke thus. The company filed slowly along the paths in the wood, led by Haldir, while the other elf walked behind. They felt the ground beneath their feet smooth and soft, and after a while they walked more freely, without fear of hurt or fall. Being deprived of sight, Frodo found his hearing and other senses sharpened. He could smell the trees and the trodden grass. He could hear many different notes in the rustle of the leaves overhead, and the river murmuring away on his right, and the thin, clear voices of birds high in the sky. He felt the sun upon his face and hands when they passed through an open glade. Oh, I read that wrong. He felt the sun upon his face and hands. Dude, my nose has been running for like a week straight. Fuck me. Okay. He felt the sun upon his face and hands when they passed through an open glade. Ooh. He felt the sun upon his face and hands when they passed through an open glade. As soon as he set foot upon the far bank of Silverlode, A strange feeling had come upon him, and it deepened as he walked on into the Neath. It seemed to him that he had stepped over a bridge of time into a corner of the elder days, and was now walking in a world that was no more. In Rivendell, there was memory of ancient things. In Lorien, the ancient things still lived on in the waking world. Evil had been seen and heard there. Sorrow had been known. The elves feared and distrusted the world outside. Wolves were howling on the wood's borders. But on the land of Lorien, no shadow lay. Ooh, we're making progress. Okay, we still have a few pages. All that day, the company marched on until they felt the cool evening. Until they felt the cool evening come and heard the early night wind whispering among many leaves. Then they rested and slept without fear upon the ground, for their guides would not permit them to unbind their eyes, and they could not climb. In the morning they went on again, walking without haste. At noon they halted, and Frodo was aware that they had passed out under the shining sun. Suddenly he heard the sound of many voices all around him. A marching host of elves. Ooh, I said that harshly. A marching host of elves had come up silently. They were hastening towards the northern borders to guard against any attack from Moria. And they brought news, some of which Haldir reported. The marauding orcs had been waylaid, and almost all destroyed. The remnant had fled westward towards the mountains, and were being pursued. A strange creature also had been seen, running with bent back, with hands near the ground, like a beast, and yet not of beast shape. It had eluded capture, and they had not shot it, not knowing whether it was good or ill, and it had vanished down the Silver Lode southward. Gollum. We know it's Gollum, right? That's got to be it. I'm not just crazy. Also, said Haldir, they bring me a message from the Lord and the Lady of They bring me a message from the Lord and Lady of the Galadrim. You are all to walk free, even the dwarf Gimli. It seems that the lady knows who and what is each member of your company. New messages have come from Rivendell, perhaps. He removed the bandage. Dude, my nose. I might have to blow my freaking nose right now, dude. This is getting nuts. Am I sick? Maybe. I don't feel that sick, just running. It's fucking nuts, bro. I can't believe it. Who cursed me with the eternal runny nose? What in the flying fuck is up with that? Who cursed me deeply with the runny nose of endless time and peril? Okay. Oh, okay. He removed the bandage first from Gimli's eyes. Your pardon. Nope, your pardon. No, that's not Gimli. Your pardon, he said, bowing low. Look upon us now with friendly eyes. Look and be glad, for you are the first dwarf to behold the trees of the Neath of Lorien since Durin's day. When his eyes were in turn uncovered, Frodo looked up and caught his breath. They were standing in an open space. To the left stood a great mound, covered with a sward of grass as green as springtime in the elder days. Upon it, as a doubled crown, grew 2 circles of trees. The outer had bark of snowy white, and were leafless, but beautiful in their shapely nakedness. The inner were malern trees of great height, still arrayed in pale gold. High among the branches of a towering tree that stood in the center of all there gleamed a white flet. At the feet of the trees, and all about the green hillsides, the grass was studded with small golden flowers shaped like stars. Among them, nodding on slender stalks, were other flowers, white and palest green. They glimmered as a mist amid the rich hue of the grass. Over all the sky was blue, and the sun of afternoon glowed upon the hill and cast long green shadows beneath the trees. "Behold, you are come to Seren Amroth," said Haldir, "for this is the heart of the ancient realm as it was long ago, and here is the mound of Amroth, where in happier days his high house was built. Here ever bloom the winter flowers in the unfading grass, the yellow Eleanor and the pale Nifredel, and the pale Nifredel. Here we will stay a while. And come to the city of Galadrim at dusk." The others cast themselves down upon the fragrant grass, but Frodo stood a while, still lost in wonder. It seemed to him that he had stepped through a high window that looked on a vanished world. A light was upon it for which his language had no name. All that he saw was shapely. The shapes seemed at once clear-cut, as if they had been first conceived and drawn at the uncovering of his eyes, and ancient as if they had endured forever. He saw no color, but those he knew, gold and white, and blue and green, but they were fresh and poignant, as if he had that moment first perceived them, and for their... Whoa, sorry. I just lost my fucking... and made for them names new and wonderful. In winter here, no heart could mourn for summer or for spring. No blemish or sickness or deformity could be seen in anything that grew upon the earth. On the land of Lorien there was no stain. He turned and saw that Sam was now standing beside him, looking round with a puzzled expression, and rubbing his eyes, as if he was not sure that he was awake. It's sunlight and bright days right enough," he said. "I thought the elves were all for moon and stars, but this is more elvish than anything I ever heard tell of. I feel as if I was inside a song, if you take my meaning." Haldir looked at them, and seemed indeed to take the meaning of both thought and word. He smiled. "You feel the power of the Lady of Galadrim," he said. "Would it please you to climb with me up Seren Amroth?" They followed him as he stepped lightly up the glass. "Ooh, fuck, shit, fuck. Oh, we're almost done. We're almost there. Okay." Sorry, okay. They followed him as he stepped lightly up the grass-clad slopes. Though he walked and breathed, and about him living leaves and flowers were stirred by the same cool wind as fanned his face, Frodo felt that he was in a timeless land that did not fade or change or fall into forgetfulness. When he had gone and passed again into the outer world, still Frodo the Wanderer from the Shire would walk there, upon the grass, among Eleanor and Nifredil in fair Lothlorien. They entered the circle of white trees. As they did so, the south wind blew upon Seren Amroth, and sighed among the branches. Frodo stood still, hearing far off great seas upon beaches that had long ago been washed away, and sea-birds crying whose race had perished from the earth. Haldir had gone on, and was now climbing to the high flet. As Frodo prepared to follow him, he laid his hand upon the tree beside the ladder. Never before had he been so suddenly and so keenly aware of the feel and texture of a tree's skin, and of the life within it. He felt a delight in the wood and the touch of it, neither as forester nor as carpenter. It was the delight of the living tree itself. As he stepped out upon the lofty platform, Haldir took his hand and turned him towards the south. "Look this way first," he said. Frodo looked and saw, still at some distance, a hill of many mighty trees, or a city of green towers. Which it was he could not tell. Out of it seemed to him that the power and light
came that held all the... It seemed to him that the power and light came that held all the land in sway. He longed suddenly to fly like a bird, to rest in the green city. Then he looked eastward and saw all the land of Lorien, running down to the pale gleam of Anduin, the great river. He lifted his eyes across the river, and all the light went out, and he was back again in the world he knew. Beyond the river, the land appeared flat and empty, formless and vague, until far away it rose again, like a wall, dark and drear. The sun that lay on Lothlorien had no power to enlighten the shadow of that distant height. There lies the fastness of Southern Mirkwood, said Haldir. It is clad in a forest of dark fir, where the trees strive one against another, and their branches rot and wither. In the midst, upon a stony height, stands Dol Guldur, where long the hidden enemy had his dwelling. We fear that now it is inhabited again, and with power sevenfold. A black cloud lies often over it of late. In this high place you may see the two powers that are opposed to one another, and ever they strive now in thought. But whereas the light perceives the very heart of darkness, its own secret has not been discovered. Not yet. He turned and climbed swiftly down, and they followed him. At the hill's foot, Frodo found Aragorn, standing still and silent as a tree, but in his hand was a small golden bloom of Elenor, and a light was in his eyes. He was wrapped in some fair memory, and as Frodo looked at him, he knew that he beheld things as they once had been in this same place. For the grim years were removed from the face of Aragorn, and he seemed clothed in white, a young lord, tall and fair, and he spoke words in the Elvish tongue to one whom Frodo could not see. Arwen Vanimella, Namari. Arwen Vanimella, Namari. Trying. Okay. He said, and then he drew a breath, and returning out of his thought, he looked at Frodo and smiled. Here is the heart of elvendom on earth, he said, and here my heart dwells ever, unless there be a light beyond the dark roads that we still must tread, you and I. Come with me. And taking Frodo's hand in his, he left the hill of Seren Amroth and came there, never again, as a living man. Oh, man. That's it. We're done. We made it. And that is the end of chapter 6. Whew. Oh, I'm tired. Dude, reading for nearly 3 hours is tough. It's tough, I gotta say. But yes, we did. We read up. Oh, I missed a sub. Big Lento. See, that's because there's no sound. I missed the sub because I'm looking at the book. I don't know if anyone's there, but thank you for listening. We made it through 2 chapters. 2 chapters today, which was good. Normally we only do 1. But it was almost 3 hours. Let's go. So we're making progress. Isn't that great? Chapter 7 is next. Chapter 7 is The Mirror of Galadriel. We know who Galadriel is from the films. Though I guess, Relis, you wouldn't because you haven't seen it. So you're going to find out next time. Thank you. Appreciate it. I hope you all had a good time. My nose was feeling very stuffed up for the last few pages there. So hopefully I wasn't too nasally. I was trying to get past that nasaliness. I don't know if you heard it. Maybe it was fine. Hopefully next week I am no longer stuffed up. I don't know what the hell's going on with my nose. It needs to stop being dumb. I'm glad you had a good time. Thank you. Thank you for joining and subscribing after the video that I made there. It's great to have some more action in chat, you know. It's very exciting. We appreciate it. We appreciate it greatly. When? I don't know what do you mean when? The next time I read every Monday at the same time. I don't know if that's what you're asking. But I read every Monday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which I guess if you're in Cinemike, that might not be very helpful. But same time every week. Monday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I don't know where y'all live. You got to do your own translations of time, okay? All right? Yeah. And I'm working on more videos because I want to keep up the content, you know. Now that I've finally gotten some momentum, we want to keep it going. I have a couple videos planned. I don't know if any of you saw my Gandalf telling you the history of the One Ring video, but I have a video in mind that's similar to that but different. And I also have another kind of like, I guess similar to the one that went popular. Hopefully, is somewhat decent. That's gonna be like a commentary about like kind of my story, I guess, a little bit. And hopefully I get those out. Hopefully they don't suck. But we shall see. We shall see. I try to be honest, my editing skill is not top tier. My personality may be perfect. But by the way, we hit 10K views on that during the stream. I don't know. That's notable. That's worth saying. I got 10K views on that video while we're live. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that awesome? Isn't that a victorious moment? Okay. Yeah, we should probably end the stream though, because I am stuffed up and tired. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. Yeah, we're gonna head out. There's gonna be a delay, so if you say something and I don't respond, I'm sorry. Goodbye, farewell, everyone. Have a good evening. Peace out.